This video talks about stone prison walls, cold, ghosts on set, haunting the cast and crew, and of course Viking pagan mythology. Welcome to Filmmaker Berserk. I am Krista Grady Saxon. We're going to talk about how the Shawshank theory will make you legendary. The Shawshank Redemption is a movie that took years to go from a dead flop to a classic. Every movie must be built as its own unique brand. The movie had all the elements of a successful feature film. It had an incredible storyline, A-list Oscar-winning talent. The cast included Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman, and of course, Gil Bellows, who played Tommy in Shawshank Redemption.
I got the TV like this. Suddenly,
for the movie I own and executive produce, which is Nation Fire, that also stars Gil Bellows from Shawshank Redemption. He played the villain in my movie and did a phenomenal job.
Suddenly, here's this.
But when The Shawshank Redemption initially came out, it was a complete flop. The Shawshank Redemption is a movie that took years, like 3 decades, to see success. But it made it there, while other movies that flopped initially stayed flopped. So what makes The Shawshank Redemption so different? Everything's reliant on the word of mouth, because that's how people go in and see the movie. They hear it from somebody else. Hold on, I'm gonna call my mom and ask her.
Hello?
Hey.
Hey.
When that time you were in the store with Dawn and you had to sit down from emphysema, and what did you say to her?
Her sister has, I forgot what she called it. I said, I've got emphysema, and she goes, oh, that's what she said. She said, oh, my sister has that in her foot.
What was it?
Eczema.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. So
That's
she
what
thought
it was.
emphysema was eczema. Right. So eczema and emphysema are 2 very different things. Somebody gets the word wrong, and then what happens? All of a sudden, well, oh yeah, my sister has that in her foot. Well, it's not, because my mom was talking about emphysema, which is a deterioration of the lungs. That's good, because she could walk away in a better mood knowing, oh, it's just itchy foot. It's just a rash on her ankle. This leads us to look at a phenomenon called the Mandela effect. The Mandela effect refers to a situation in which a large mass of people believe an event occurred when it did not. It can also refer to brands which stick within our memories as a collective group of people. Entire audiences believed it to be one way when in fact it was another. A great example of this would be for, say, Sex in the City. Or was it Sex and the City? I believed it was Sex in the City, when in fact,
is it you?
The title of the show is Sex and the City. So how many other people had believed in this idea that the show was titled Sex in the City, and where did that come from? That's the difference between the name of your feature film, of your brand, needs to be memorable. But when The Shawshank Redemption initially came out, it was a complete flop and lost millions at the box office. The Shawshank premiered in theaters in stiff competition. And this is, of course, something that we all go through with our brand. We want to be different, however, there is some competition that we must supersede in order to get ahead and see that initial success. If you like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe, as my mission is to give you, talent and filmmakers, information you need to build yourself as a movie brand. So at the same time that Shawshank was released into theaters, Forrest Gump came out, which was a diabolical movie with an incredible soundtrack, cast, storyline, production value and quality.
That day,
Massive marketing, a monopoly in the whole distribution sector for major studios.
And when I got there, I thought maybe I'd run to the end of town.
President Carter suffering from heat exhaustion.
It resonated with audience on an emotional level.
Now, remember how I told you that Jenny never seemed to want to go home? Well, she lived in a house that was old as Alabama. Her mama had gone up to heaven when she was 5, and her daddy was some kind of a farmer.
Jenny?
He was a very loving man. He was always kissing and touching her and her sister.
There's both male and female cast in the movie that were super powerful, and they spoke to men and women of all ages.
Jenny wasn't on the bus to go to school.
Jenny, why'd you come to school today? Shh. Dad is taking a nap.
Jenny!
Come on.
Jenny! Where'd you run to? You better get back here, girl! Where you at?
Forrest Gump never paid their screenwriter the back-end deal that they promised them because they also reported their movie in a deficit, which is a whole nother story on its own, but I find that interesting. Shawshank Redemption came out to theaters. It really completely tanked. As far as the setting, could have looked to be a depressing type of cold setting. And the cast and crew talked about it themselves and talked about how filming the prison scenes was haunted. There was one aspect of this that brings us to an interesting point. The title of the movie. Most things travel and gain success by word of mouth.
I forgot what she called it, but it was really funny.
Okay, but
Is that what you're talking about?
yeah, Morgan Freeman talked about one time when he was on an elevator and a woman came up to him and was like, oh my goodness. Oh, I see you were in the Hudsucker Reduction. Many people could not pronounce the Shawshank Redemption. I mean, what the frick is a Shawshank? What is that? And he's like, excuse me? Do you mean Shawshank Redemption? Yeah, that's what I mean. So the Hudsucker Reduction is very different than Shawshank Redemption. But most people aren't gonna say, oh, yo, I saw this movie called Hudsucker Reduction. Oh yeah, where would I find that at? Well, it's out in theaters right now, and then it's gonna be on VHS real soon. So somebody's gonna go look it up and be like, I can't find Hudsucker Reduction, and not know this is Shawshank Redemption. It's kind of not even close. You can't even pronounce the name, but a big part of your marketing as a brand is through word of mouth, then you're gonna be screwed. The biggest form of promotion is word of mouth. What we rely on is your audience. No matter where you distribute your movie, no matter where your brand comes out at, you want them to be able to talk about it and spread the word clearly. You know, like we look at Natural Born Killers and there's Mickey and Mallory Knox. Now, just to say those names, it's Mickey and Mallory. Like me, I'm a great example as well. My name is Krista Grotti. Krista Grotti Saxon. Well, people can't really pronounce my last name. They would say Grotti. It's really called Gruta in Norway because my family is from Norway. I'm Norwegian and I'm a true Viking, which will bring me into the Viking pagan culture and the mythical stories behind that have evolved into greater and bigger stories. Part of the Viking bloodline, who I am. And I know this because of the documented historical behavior when they get drunk. I've done the same thing. So then I know that's why I go by Berserker.
God help us.
That's what happens with word of mouth. According to a story in the BBC, they were talking about how during those first 10 years after the film's release, the rapid uptake of the internet saw burgeoning communities of fans discuss and deconstruct the movie's themes and imagery online. So we knew that we had something special with that movie, but we needed fans to get there to watch it. To get them to watch it, they needed to understand how to pronounce it. Factor alone didn't resonate with people, okay? Like Forrest Gump would, or Pulp Fiction, like what's this?
Ladies and gentlemen, now the moment you've all been waiting for.
Win. I want that trophy.
You know, that was a new Tarantino movie. Again, it had an incredible soundtrack with familiar music in it. It had pop culture. What the frick is a Shawshank? What is that? And just that factor alone didn't resonate with people, like Forrest Gump would, or Pulp Fiction. So you have to make sure your message and your title and your name is very clear and memorable.